What's going on, everybody? My name is Hongos. I'm a photographer and web video producer. In this video, we'll be talking and looking into Anchor. Anchor has become one of my favorite apps over the past few months because it has so much to offer. The reason I would like to dive into this is because of artificial intelligence and the rise of the radio once again. The reason I say this is because we've seen massive companies like Apple, Google, and Amazon aiming for the idea of the perfect personal assistant. In the future, everything will be customized and fully adapted to you and your personality. Now, I say this also because this is a very untapped market, in my opinion. Podcasting is the oldest form of distributing content, if you think about it. Back in the days, there was no YouTube, there was no Instagram, so people heavily relied on podcasting. In addition to that, I feel like a lot of millennials really skipped out on this. And Anchor is one of those applications that will really allow us to monitor and distribute it to everywhere. And that's what Anchor does really well right off from the start. And one of the spoilers for for the review, it lets you distribute to all the major platforms, from the Google Play Store to the iTunes Store to podcasters, to even letting you put it on the HomePod and the Google Assistant, which to me is amazing. It really takes out the hassle of having to make multiple accounts and having the passwords to log into them and all this stuff. So that was like what drew me in from the beginning. However, this is a critical review of the entire application, and that was just one snippet of it. So let's dive right into it. So as we see here on the home page, we have people that we listen to, people that we follow, like my man Gary Vee, to my daily report. My daily report is actually one of my favorite things, and that's because it gives you a rundown of what's going on the daily. It's very simple, very right to the point, and I really enjoy that, so it's not wasting any of my time. You also have the Discover page as well, where they give you new items and recommendations. I personally don't know how they use the algorithm, if it's like the Facebook algorithm, which the more you like something, the more I recommend you to that same item, which to me is very weird. So then we move on to something that is pretty cool. I like how they put a really heavy emphasis on the visual representation of the person's logo. This is a very listening to experience, very ear-oriented experience. So for them to put that much emphasis on the logos is really, really great. However, I'm still running an iPhone 6, so like the icons feel like really like unnecessarily massive, like I'm some like 90-year-old that still needs to squint, the grandma squint that you have to do in order to see anything. And I wish I could just customize the size of this. It has so many things to recommend you and all that stuff. So overall, this section feels a little crammed. There's too much going on. In addition to that, I would hope that there would be some more customization as to what I listen to, as we've seen with the Facebook and Cambridge Analytica, and just like the Facebook bubble effect, which is the algorithm. You like something, it'll show you more of that. So like if you're leaning on the left spectrum of politics or on the right, it'll just keep on feeding you that, which is a little dangerous. You keep on hearing the same thing over and over. So I would hope that there would be some way to be listening to different opinions. If you're leaning to the left, it gives you a little taste of the right, and vice versa. I know that might not be a popular opinion, but I think that would make the podcasting app just a little better, and it would stray away from the more you like something, the more we'll recommend you the same thing of that. So overall, I think that for such a young app within this stage, it does a really, really great job within the homepage. But overall, I would consider this homepage, just to be a giant clutter. Now let's move on to the middle section. This is where all the magic happens. You have 4 things that are going on around here. First, it's the ability to record, which is the whole premises of this application. So you're able to either hold it up to your face like you're having a phone call, and you're able to record. It's really simple, and it's a great integration of the iPhone sensors. And on top of that, you're able to just press and hold the button so you can record. It takes away the hassle of having to record like classic Snapchat, and it just makes it really, really simple. Then you have the ability to ask questions to your followers. This is great and very simple to organize, and without hesitation, it allows you to be more interactive with the people that are listening to you and following to you. If a user likes what you say, they're able to clap, which I would assume is the same thing as a like. And then on top of that, you're able to have peer-to-peer or co-host abilities. This is really a great thing because you're able to bring multiple perspectives in from different views. That's the word of the video, multiple perspectives, because I think that's what podcasting really allows you to do. And I believe you need the Anchor app in order to have this peer-to-peer conversation, but it just allows you to spice things up, and it's really great. One thing that everybody is excited about though is the ability to add music with Spotify. Now, I've been a little hesitant with this part just because of copyright and regulations. Now, every podcasting distribution has different rules and regulations. Like iTunes will be different from Google, and I'm not trying to get sued here. So I would really love to know the clarifications within that, and I wish the application gave me that. And once you are done recording, you are able to move to another section, and they introduce this brand new thing that they didn't have when my application was crashing like 5 or 6 times, which was the ability to save as a draft. This is really great because in case it happens to you where you see a constant crash within the app, you're able to save it and upload it later. However, I wish they would take this one step further, and they will allow you to save it onto your voice memos or onto your camera roll, just in case it doesn't save it as a draft. So it's like 2 safety nets. Then this is where I kind of want to see a little bit of the improvements. There are 3 major improvements that I would like to see within the application. First is letting you know what song you used last. I'm trying to keep the podcast as consistent as possible, but it doesn't let you know what song it is. So like I'll be scrambling around, and it's super like inconsistent at some points. I know a lot of viewers like consistency, and that's what I'm aiming for. So that's one really small thing I would like to see. Second is really, really important. I'm not asking Anchor to be like Adobe Auditions or Ableton Live or anything, but these 2 features would be really great. It would be the ability to control the background music. Sometimes, you know, the iPhone microphone isn't like a $2,000 microphone. It's really great and it gets the job done. But sometimes it'll be in a really loud environment, and I'll put the music on top of it, and the music will overpower what I have to say. Second is the ability to scroll while you're editing. I hate having to like hear my own voice say, "Hey guys," or "Hey everyone," every single podcast. It's just like a really small pet peeve, but that's those are 3 of the massive improvements that I would like to see within the recording. And then once you're done, you're able to name that episode and upload it, and it gets distributed everywhere. What I've noticed is that the Google Play Store will pick it up right away, and it'll be live within like minutes. And then you have the iTunes Store, which takes about 1 or 2 hours. It's really not a big hesitation within the gap that you uploaded it, but this is what I would like to see. Sometimes I'd like to record like small sections, so like maybe a 1-minute episode like every few hours, because I found something interesting in the news. And I would hope that it didn't get uploaded right away. So maybe there's like a stop feature, or like an algorithm where you say, okay, I'm done with the day. After the day is done at 11:55 or 10 p.m., you upload everything, bundle it up, and it gets distributed. That would be one really great thing to see. Also, I would also like to give a quick review of the desktop application, which is really phenomenal. First, you're able to see all your analytics, where people are listening to, from the iOS to the Androids, to whether they're listening on iTunes or the Google Play Store. And you can't do that on the mobile version for some odd reason, but I hope they would take it there. Also, you're able to drag files from your computer onto the Anchor app. So if you have like an actual professional podcast you want to distribute right away, this is a really, really great way for you to do that. And if you do it, it gets uploaded right away. So that's a review of the middle section and the desktop section. Now the profile is pretty self-explanatory. It just gives you what you look like to the world, and it saves and where your drafts live. Now as we enter this new digital age, which is the word of the video on top of every other word that I've said, whatever the last word was, you realize that it has the ability to fill in the gap as we become more comfortable with our voice assistants and giving them memos, and as we ultimately try to do as much as possible and multitask. When it comes to podcasts, you visually don't have to be there. All you have to do is listen, and listen well. But these are some of the things that I feel like Anchor falls behind on. First and foremost is influencers. Today, April 13th, I saw that Casey Neistat was looking for distributors to help him with his podcast that he's starting with his wife. So That's one opportunity that they have.
So, the big plan for podcasting kind of goes like this. We'll use this space down here, and we'll build a couple of studios, as in small spaces that have really good sound. Then, when friends of mine, other creators, maybe, I don't really know how to source the right people yet, but people who are interested in doing podcasts, they could come here, do it out of here. We'll have the production resources. We will have by then partnered with a distribution partner, and it's sort of plug and play podcasting, but on a really professional level. And then you're part of like the 368 network, which means we can all be promoting each other and helping each other and figuring out how to monetize these podcasts so people can make money by doing them. That's the vision. And it's gonna start with the podcast that Candace and I are doing, which I hope to have launched by...
On top of that, David Dobrik also already has like his own personal podcast, which only lives on YouTube and on iTunes. So this is where Anchor can serve as a great backbone to be a distributor and say, hey, I can take the hassle of uploading it to iTunes, the Google Play Store, Podcaster, your Siri box, whatever it is, Siri Home. So that's where it could come in when it comes to like these massive influencers and YouTubers. Secondly, I see that they have very little interaction within their social media. If you look at their Instagrams, for instance, there's really nothing there. On top of that, one time I had notifications turned on and they posted like 8 things at once, and it basically felt like spam, and you're not supposed to be a spammer on the internet. It's one of like the most annoying things possible. So I think the way that they queue things up and the way that they're doing that, especially within Instagram being the platform that it is, it's lacking a little. Instagram already has the ability to upload videos. So what I suggest for every single platform, and they're already kind of doing it on Twitter, is basically the idea of shouting out one anchor or podcaster a day. And that's because you're able to upload like a 1-minute clip onto Instagram and then distribute it to Facebook as well. And these are already massive sharing platforms. In a way, you have to use other social media platforms in order to grow your own. Thirdly, I noticed that they have exposure without the exposure. I say this because what ultimately drew me to Anchor, which is the ability to distribute to multiple places fast and easy, is kind of like its double-edged sword. As I noticed on my Google profile for this and on my iTunes, it has the word Anchor in front of my name. That's Anchor. People might think that's like what my podcast is named, but it's not. So I don't see that there's a button on there that says download Anchor. There's no like click hyperlink that drags me right to the App Store or anywhere really. It's like you expect people to write the name of it onto their iTunes store or their Google Play Store and then download it. Like you're trying to make it as easy as possible for them to know where the source came from, and just putting a name in front of it isn't really helping. You're trying to make it as simplistic and as fast as possible for the person. Now I know that this application can and will survive because it's way ahead of its time. As a lot of things that I've been looking for years, it's so simplistic and it's so easy, but they really need to do better when it comes to influencers and really taking advantage of some of these basic strategies that are distributed online. On top of that, they never looked at my resume and never get back to me. So I had to do this because I'm in college and I'm about to graduate. So hopefully it's not an ad either. So it's not ad, hashtag not an ad. I'm not popular enough. But overall, if you're on Anchor, what do you like? What don't you like? What are some of your opinions on the application and why do you use it? And go ahead and follow me on there. Here's the link right here. But overall, thank you so much for your time and your attention. My name is Jazzaddict, and I'll catch you in the next one.